You've been playing that wrong. This is another in a series of videos answering frequently asked questions about the board game Vantage. And today's topic is really more of a strategy tip than a rules mistake tip. And that is the frequently expressed frustration that I can't solve my mission. So in this video, I'm going to kind of do um, three levels of the video. The first will be completely spoiler free, or I guess not completely, but you can see I've hidden a lot of the cards or the spoilery information on the cards. And then in the second level, I'll partially reveal some cards, and then in the third level, I'll completely reveal the cards, and you'll get warning in each case. Now in Vantage, one way that you win the game is by completing your mission. And many players have expressed frustration that they don't know how to complete their mission, they don't know how to get started, they played for a long time and they haven't made any headway on their mission. And that is by design of the game. The game is really an exploration game, and so you will get a mission and you've got a whole world to explore, and it's supposed to not be obvious how to complete your mission, okay? But the first tip I have for you to completing your mission is do not forget that in addition to taking actions at locations, you can also take actions on cards. You can, for example, take actions on your character's card. So every character has a master action, a buy action, and an equip action that you can take on your turn. But there are also actions on other cards in the game, including the mission card. And as far as I know, every mission card contains the pivot, research, plead, and hone actions. And so the tip is don't sleep on taking those actions. If you're frustrated that you can't make headway on your mission, take those actions. Now I'm going to progress to the second part of the video where I give you a little more spoiler on these actions, okay? So really, that should be the tip that you should play with, and come back to this video if you're still frustrated, I suppose, but that really should be enough, okay? But now let me explain a little bit more about these actions. These actions kind of lower the difficulty level of the game, or increase the easiness of the game, okay? Of all of these actions, the one that I would recommend you take first is the research action. And the reason is because this really just gives you information about your mission. It does give you a little bit of help, but the other three tend to give you more help on your mission, okay? Particularly the pivot action. So the pivot action I would take last. The pivot action is really just a way to make your mission easier and to allow you to end the game faster. Another reason to take the pivot action might be you've played for an hour and a half, your friends have to go in another 15 minutes, and so it'd be nice if you could come to a satisfying conclusion in the game, then take the pivot action, okay? So that's kind of the second level of recommendation, is take research first, then plead or hone, and then pivot when you really want to speed to the end of the mission or really get a significant amount of help on your mission. Now I'm going to give you some specific examples of the types of things that are going to occur, and this will result in a few more spoilers, okay? When you take the research action, you're going to grab the purple book because it's a purple action. You're going to turn to the mission number, which in my case is 1584, and it's going to give you a little bit of advice. It's going to give you a little more information about the mission. I'm not going to show you the entry, but I'm going to open it up to the side here and take a look. Like any other action in the game, you'll have to roll some dice. You'll have to place those dice, those challenge dice, onto cards or take penalties. Now, fortunately, I have the purple character, and my purple character is capable of taking dice from purple actions. But anyway, this description in the book tells me to roll a couple of dice, and then it is going to give me a card. Now, I don't know if all the research actions are going to give you a card, but in this case, it tells me to gain card 1403, which is a book. And if you haven't gained books in the game, books often allow you to look at more information, look at maps, or look at a little information in the Book of Vantages that will give you more information about the types of things you're collecting, in this case, in this particular mission. Okay, so the research action kind of explains the mission better and often gives you a card that will give you access to actions that will give you further information. So it's nice because you can use those actions if you want or not, depending on how much you want the mission to be your own ingenuity and how much you want it to be sort of collecting information and then slowly pursuing the goals of the mission. Okay. Now, if I take the plead action, I would grab the orange engage book. I would look up 1584, and again, I'll do this off camera. It will tell me a certain number of dice to roll, challenge dice. I'll have to place those onto spaces in the card array. By the way, any of my team members can take these actions, and they could take them on successive turns. So maybe I took the research action, and my co-player takes the plead action next. Okay. Now this particular one gives me a choice. I don't know if they all give you a choice, but my choice is basically to jump to a location, kind of teleport to a location. It tells me to grab a certain location card. My guess is that location card will either contain one of the things I'm supposed to collect or will be next door to one of the things that I'm going to have to collect. Okay. The other option is that I can stay at my location, and this person that I'm pleading with, the sentient I'm pleading with, gives me something that's going to make it easier for me down the road to collect the things I'm supposed to collect for this mission. So you can see the plead action is, it doesn't necessarily give you something, but it definitely takes you closer in one way or another to getting the things that you need to collect. Okay, another action that you can take, trying to keep my spoiler shield in place, is the hone action. The hone action requires you to grab the help storybook. Again, I could take this after taking the other actions, or I could, this might be the only one that I take off the card. Looking it up in the book off camera, it tells me to roll a certain number of challenge dice. By the way, these number of challenge dice that you have to roll, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, is not excessive. And this one gives me a card. So again, I'm going to reveal a bit more of what's in the array here. Okay, in this case, it gives me an ability card. Ability cards typically feature challenge dice slots for particular actions. So this one you can see is an orange card. It's not every orange action that this card has dice slots for, but a particular subset of orange action that makes it easier to complete a particular mission that I am working on. And then the fourth type of action on the mission card is pivot. That's in the move storybook. And the pivot action tends to reduce, if you're collecting a set of things, it tends to reduce the number that you need in order to achieve a mission victory. So it's really kind of easy mode for that particular mission. Okay, so now for the third level of spoiler, I'm going to reveal all the cards, so you may want to stop the video now if you don't want things spoiled in the game. Here we go. This particular mission asks me to collect a menagerie of animals. The total number of animals I need depends on the number of players. I have at least one loyal animal plus one per player in grids or reserves. And if you don't know what a loyal animal is, the research action will help you learn about that. And if you don't know how to make an animal loyal to you, the plead action might help you along for that, okay? So there are many missions of this type where you're collecting sets of things. They tend to be more straightforward, but where do you find the animals? How do you get them to stay with you and join your 3x3 grid here? So for example, over my grid, I've already collected an animal here, the marrow vulture. Okay, it's currently a wild animal, not a loyal animal. So I have to take some steps in order to make that animal loyal. If you want to look at some of the cards I collected from the research action, the Book of Animals. This will let me look up in the Book of Vantages and learn more about the different types of animals on this world. And that might give me hints as to how to make them loyal or how to bring them into my 3x3 grid. And then finally, the plead action gave me this ability card. And the ability card is specialized for coax actions, coaxing animals, getting them to come and join you as opposed to staying at a particular location. When you coax an animal, you're going to be grabbing a an animal card out of the box there and adding it to your 3x3 grid. Okay, so this is just one type of mission, but it is similar to other types of missions, and the key thing is really learning when and how to use these mission card actions to make your mission easier. And that is how you solve missions in Vantage.